My journey to Worthington Christian was a bit of a roundabout one. All of my life, I had wanted to be a doctor. I wanted to be an OBGYN, to deliver babies, and to be a part of that moment for families. And I was in undergrad getting my bachelor's degree. I was 2.5 years through the process of getting a health science degree, and I spent some time with a female OBGYN, and I loved the experience and thought, yes, this is what I was made for. And then in talking with her, she started talking to me about all of the things that she missed with her family because of her commitment as an OB, and all of the times that she had to run out, and occasions that she missed with her family, and how hard it was to balance her roles. And the only thing I ever wanted to be more than an OB was a mom. And it was like the Lord told me in that moment, this isn't the one for you. So I was too far in to quit at that point. So I got my undergrad in health science, and without any other idea of what to do, I became a full-time gymnastics teacher for little kids while I tried to figure it out. And I started doing some subbing for extra money, and my first day in a high school classroom, I knew this is for me. This is it. It could not have been more clear. And I went home and told my husband and my family, and they all were not the least bit surprised and said, we thought you should be a teacher all along, but you kind of have to figure things out for yourself. So I immediately started looking online. How do I get a teacher licensure in the state of Ohio? And I found a program at Mount Vernon where I could get my master's degree in education and my teacher licensure at the same time. So I started that program, and I continued to substitute teach. And I loved it. I got several excellent field placements in public schools around Central Ohio. And then we found out that during student teaching, you can actually student teach in a private school in your own classroom instead of student teaching in someone else's room. So I sent an application to Worthington Christian hoping to do just that, only to find out that that particular teacher decided to stay on one more year and there wasn't a job open anymore in the science department. So I went ahead and completed my student teaching at another small Christian school in the area, and it was my first Christian school experience. And I really loved it and was excited about the possibility of maybe that's where the Lord was leading me. And during that student teaching time, I got a call from the Worthington Christian principal at the time, Mr. Tom Angel, telling me that he had held on to my application when I applied a few months prior, and that there was a position opening in January. He wondered if I was still interested. So I finished my master's and my student teaching in December, completed my licensure, and started at Worthington Christian about 20 days later in January. And we never thought a mid-year position would open up. We never thought that it would be somewhere where I would stay for over a decade and still love it as much as I did when I started, but here we are. My journey was so windy and so unpredictable, but for that I am so thankful. And it's something that I can talk about in conversations with students as they think about what is my future going to look like, and help them to see that even though they have no idea, the Lord already has it all planned out. And it's such a blessing in hindsight to be able to look back and see all of those steps along the way that He ordained to make things possible. So that's how I ended up at Worthington Christian, and I'm so thankful for that. With all of the opportunities available for a female high school science teacher in Central Ohio, I choose to and love to work at Worthington Christian for so many reasons. The first thing that really grabbed my attention when I started there was the small town community vibe that they had. I grew up in a small town, and when I first moved to Columbus, was really overwhelmed by the sheer size and numbers of everything. And in some of the substitute teaching that I did in some of the larger public school districts, I had a hard time with the fact that I only knew a small group of the students. And I just wanted to be a part of a place where the students were known and they felt known and they were loved and they felt loved. And I have certainly found that at Worthington Christian. It has also been a welcoming community for me as an educator. Some of my favorite people in the world are people that I work with at Worthington Christian. My administration has made it so much easier to balance being a mom and being a teacher. And the families are so supportive and encouraging. And I love that about Worthington Christian. I would say most importantly, I love the fact that I can invest in my students on a spiritual level. Being able to walk through the tough things that face them as teenagers without scripture, without the truth of Jesus, without prayer, just sounds unimaginable to me. I love that when a student says, hey, can we chat? I know that we can end by praying together for whatever it is that's on their hearts. I love the fact that I can share with them all of the times that the Lord has shown up for me, even when I wasn't sure he was going to, because that's what faith is. And yet he did time and time again. And I love being able to help them to see all the times in their lives that he's done that, and to be able to watch them grow as they work their way through our school, and then to graduate and to head out in the world and to watch them bloom and to watch them share Jesus and to go do his work all around the world is such a blessing to me. And 10 years later, still having former students text and say, hey, can you pray for this? Or hey, do you have any advice about that? Those relationships that we're able to build with our students are so much deeper and so much better because they are based in Jesus and on his word. And so for that reason, I am so thankful to work at Worthington Christian. What I love most about working at Worthington Christian is that community feeling. I love being a part of a team that encourages each other, that supports each other. The people that I work with genuinely care about me and love me, and I genuinely care about them and love them. I love that I work with people who push me to be better, to seek Jesus, to pray more, to dive in, to love my students, to consider their background and their situations before responding to them. I love having a team of people that can walk through difficult situations with me, and that we've all been gifted in different ways so as to bring that community together and to be the hands and feet of Jesus for our students. I loved the fact that my students know my children, and I know their teachers, and I know my students' parents, and that it's all one big community based on love, and that we are all seeking Jesus and seeking justice and seeking truth and grace. And I love having an administration that supports us and encourages us and helps us to balance being parents and being teachers and being a part of a team. And they genuinely want us to be happy and joyful, and also to be better, and aren't afraid to have those conversations to push us in those ways. So I'm so thankful for the community of Worthington Christian and the family that we have found there.